Afterglow of his just-finished deal with Iran aimed at curbing its nuclear program. Here's correspondent Doug McKelway.
Both Iran and the U.S. hailed the implementation phase of the deal finalized yesterday, now set to take effect January 20th, the 33rd anniversary of the end of the Iranian hostage crisis.
This interim agreement is the result of concerted international action, including unprecedented sanctions. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be challenging, but ultimately this is how diplomacy should work.
Negotiators Russia and China, Iran's strongest allies, won more technical concessions at the 11th hour that Iran faced no limitation to continue researching. The deal leaves Iran free to develop centrifuges that process uranium.
On second, third, fourth, fifth generations of centrifuges that have no other purpose than to build a nuclear weapon and enrich weaponized uranium.
Congressional resistance to the deal is building as a bipartisan group of Democrats from states with large Jewish populations and Republicans across the spectrum line up behind a bill that would reimpose sanctions after 6 months if Iran cheats.
Anybody that trusts Iran hasn't really been paying attention for the last 30 years. They cheat, they lie, and cannot be trusted. It is sanctions, tough sanctions, that actually drove Iran to this point. And I think that relieving sanctions is a terrible mistake.
But Iranian Foreign Minister Zarif warned that if new sanctions are passed, quote, the entire deal is dead. Zarif today laid a wreath at the grave of the former head of Hezbollah, the man responsible for killing 241 Marines in 1983 and suspected of killing former Lebanese Prime Minister Hariri. The White House today warned Congress to hold off on new sanctions.
It could undermine the consensus that we've built.
Carney said the sanctions were only strong because of international cooperation, now potentially threatened by Congress's unilateral action. But critics say Iran is already using sanctions relief for nefarious purposes.
This is the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism that just got billions of dollars to continue funding more terrorism.
The president has vowed to veto any bill that tries to reimpose sanctions on Iran, but there's growing confidence in the Senate that that bill may garner 67 votes, a veto-proof majority. Brett?
Doug McKelway in the White House briefing room. Doug, thank you. Israel said